Today the materials that we're going to be using are a ruler, some cardboard, a pencil, some scissors, some tape, and some yarn. The first step is I'm going to make my loom, and the loom is the tool that we are going to use to create our weaving. I'm going to start by using my ruler and making some marks on opposite sides of my cardboard. These marks should be about a finger width distance apart. However, you can make them wider if you'd like. The next step is I'm going to cut these marks to make slits in my loom, and this is going to be where my string is going to go into. The next step is to warp your loom, and I'm going to be using a pretty thin piece of string for this, but you can really use any kind of yarn. So I'm going to slide it down into the first slit, and I'm going to go directly across on my cardboard. I'm going to wrap around the slit, back to the front side, and directly across. Wrap around the back, and directly across. Wrap around the back and directly across, all the way to the other side of my loom. I like to use a small piece of tape on the back to secure these loose strings. It helps them to not be pulled out while we're weaving. Now it's time for us to weave. I'm going to be using yarn today, but like I said earlier, you could use old material that you cut into strips, you could use paper, you could even find things in nature to create a weaving out of. Weaving is just a pattern, so you're going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, all the way from one side of your loom to the other. And when you first start, you're going to have this kind of tail or a little extra piece of string that hangs off, and that's okay. Don't pull it all the way through. On your second row, you're going to do the opposite of what you did on the first row. So I'm using a knitting needle just to kind of help me speed up the process. It's definitely not necessary. Over, under, over, under, over, under. And this time I'm going to pull it through gently so that I don't pull my first row out. And then I'm going to kind of slide it down. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, pull it through. So you're just going to repeat this pattern. Over, under, over, under, over, under, pull it through. like. Ta-da! And the last step is to remove your weaving from the loom. Now, some people like to leave it attached, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and remove mine to show you how. On the back side, I'm going to cut the warp. And once I have 2 loose, I can tie them into a knot. But you can tie more than 2 together as well. So if you have only 5 strings, you might tie 2 together and then 3 together. Some people like to tie them all together in one big knot. This will give you lots of practice at tying knots. And repeat on the other side.